Jai Jai Shri Radheshyam and welcome. Long time without reading from Gourang to Gourang Das. By the way, and before starting, I want to let you know that I have the last four copies of From Gourang to Gourang Das, and they are available right now from Vrindavan. I can send to you directly to the door of your house. This book is wonderful. Really, all the information on Gauranga Mahaprabhu, his pastime Lila, plus the information on Radharaman Charan Das Dev, Gourang Das Babaji Maharaj Vrindavan, and other big top-level Siddha Vaishnavas is available on this book. And mostly this information you will not find nowhere, actually. And it's all by the mercy of Vraj Gopal Das, my dear Dadu, my friend in Vrindavan, who have been studying all his whole life, the life of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the associates, and Bade Baba. And due to this condensed nectar, the book came out in English, actually. It's very little information in English to this level. So I recommend to you to get a copy of the 4 last books I have. I have been shipping already 6 of them to America and Europe, Australia. So the last 4, one of them can be to you, going to you directly. We will continue on page 59. Namaste Gurudevaya Sarvasiddhi Pradayane Sarvamagala Rupaya Sarvananda Vidyayane. Tvameva Matasya Pita Tvameva Vandushka Sakha Tvameva Vidyam Dravinam Tvameva Sarvamam Deva Deva. You are all for me, you are all to me, you are my all. O Krishna Radhe Nitai Gaura Sri Gurudev Sri Mahavira Radharaman Ki Jai Ho. No way, no alternative. This is the Lord's will. Nitai returned to Bengal and married Vasudha Jannava, the 2 daughters of Surya Das Pandit of Ambika Kalna. Nityanand was an ascetic. Nimai became an ascetic. Worldly people might think and conclude that one could not attain to the lotus feet of Krishna without renouncing the world. Keeping this possibility in the mind, the Lord had to take this decision in regard to Nitai. Raghunath Das of Saptagram had met the Lord twice in Bengal. He had not hallowed by the Lord to renounce the world. Now, when Nitai, in the course of Nam Prem movement, reached Panihati, he came there and fell at his feet. Nityanand addressed him as thief. All those present there were rather shocked to hear the word thief. Nitai thief! Jai Nitai! Jai Nitai! Such eminent successor and the only son of Govardhan, the Seminder of Saptagram, is a thief. It was but Nitai's humorous way of stating a fact. Actually, the followers of Lord Gauranga hold that one cannot attain to the Lord unless one receives the blessings of Nitai first. So far, Raghunath had been running to the Lord directly. He did not go through proper channel. The path of attainment lay through Nityanand. Now, at Panihati, he received the blessing of Nitai and very soon got an opportunity to run away from home and met the Lord at Puri, Raghunath Das. He remained with the Lord up to the last. He was one of the 6 Goswamis and famous for his austere way of life. It was probably a matter of chance that only Jiva, one of the 6 Goswamis, didn't meet the Lord. It is said that when the Lord went to Ramkeli, he was a little child, 5 years old. He was in the lap of his mother behind the door and looked at the Lord from a distance. He, however, later on, at Navadvip, received the blessings of Nitai, who directed him to go to Vrindavan. As a learned man, Jiva had no parallel in the country at that time. His Gopal Champu is one of the remarkable works in the Gaudiya Vaishnava literature. Interesting to mention here some extra information on Sri Jiva Goswami Pad is that in Vedic literature and Upanishads, we know the Srimad Bhagavatam as the most important and extensive work for Vaishnavas, at least 18,000 verses, but Gopal Champu has around 30,000 verses, all Krishna, all written by Jiva Goswami Pad. Can you imagine his Siddha power? He was from another league, actually. Jai Shat Goswami ki jai, Gaudiya Vaishnava ki jai. Every year, the chariot festival, Rath Yatra, of Jagannath was celebrated with great joy, vigor and fervor. The Gaudiya devotees brought many things to the Lord's liking in the jalis. A jali is a container, generally a wicker basket. The jalis of Raghava Pandit and Sridhar Pandit are especially mentioned. These jalis were handed over to Govind, the Lord's attendant. The event is known as Jali Samarpan. The next day, Gundicha Marjan was done. Gundicha is the place where Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra sit in their cars, go and stay for about a week, in Rath Yatra time, right? For the Lord of Radha, Jagannath was Krishna, and the march from the temple to the Gaudiya Mandir was, as it were, Krishna's journey to Kurukshetra, to Vraj, Vrindavan. Keeping this journey in view, the Lord, along with his devotees, swept and washed Gundicha very painstakingly. My Krishna will come tomorrow, dear Lalita and Vishaka. Let us prepare and beautify the Kunj. The Lord will say to Svarupa and Ramanand, this was Gundicha Marjan. The third day, the actual Rath Yatra took place as Krishna, Jagannath, was going to Vrindavan. The Lord's joy and enthusiasm knew no bounds. 7 kirtans, sampradayas groups, all equipped with cymbals and mridangams, drums, will sing and dance round the car of Jagannath. The Lord himself will go ahead, dancing and singing in front of the car. Wasn't Radha escorting her Pran Bandhu Krishna to Vrindavan? During the return journey of Jagannath, the Lord's mood will be altogether different. Actually, on the very eve of this, his mood will at once change. At the very thought that her Pran Bandhu will leave Vrindavan the next morning, Gour and Radha will be dejected and melancholic. In the morning, as the chariot will be moving, she will pour out all her complaints and grievances against Krishna. To her, this return journey means separation from him again. It means the souls leaving the body. Svarup and Ramanand will somehow control her. Part of the Lord's daily routine was his going to see the Mangal Arati of Jagannath. When Jagannath wakes up early in the morning, he is worshipped by the light. This ritual is called Mangal Arati. On his way back, he will go to Siddha Bokul to meet Thakur Haridas. It was Haridas' wish, rather the last wish, to breathe his last holding the lotus feet of the Lord, looking at his moon-like face and uttering his name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Haridas entreated the Lord to grant him this boon. The Lord fulfilled this wish. One morning, he went to the hut of Haridas as usual, stood in front of him. Haridas, old and presently ill, lay on the floor. the companions of the Lord started kirtan round him. He beckoned the Lord to come nearer, put his foot on his chest, kept looking at his face and chanting the name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, left for the eternal abode of the Lord. Extra information, this Siddha Gokul over 100 years ago was in big danger to be demolished and just to sell, like whoever who sell a car. And it was Sri Radharaman Das Deva who did all the effort as a sannyasi, a real renunciant, Babaji, to collect the money and to pay and to buy this land in order to keep this sacred place of Haridas Thakur and Sri Gauranga safe for the future generation of Gaudiya Vaishnavas like you and me, so we can visit this place to do our bhajan right there, thanks to our Radharaman Das Dev. This episode in the Leela of the Lord makes two things very clear. First, the Lord is Bhakta Vatsal, that is He has love and affection for the devotees as parents have it for their children. Bhakta Vatsal, Vatsalya for Bhaktas. The Lord not only fulfilled the wish of Haridas, but also begged alms from the shopkeepers at the main entrance of the Jagannath temple to celebrate the Kanda Utsava, the formal dinner in honor of the just departed soul. Secondly, the lifelong practice of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra leads one to the lotus feet of Lord Gouranga. Yes, the practice of the Japa Mahamantra Hare Krishna leads to the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga, as shown by the example of Haridas Thakur, Japa Mahamantra, 3 lakhs every day. The end is Lord Chaitanya, where the means is the Mahamantra. The Lord gave Haridas Samadhi himself. His tomb at Swargdvar, Puri, is being served and worshipped by the followers of Sripad Ramdas Babai Maharaj, disciple of Sri Sri Radharaman Das Deva, the renowned Bengali saint. Dev, Danav, demons, Muni, sages, Gandharva, heavenly musicians, and of course, human beings all used to come and met our Lord at Puri. Bibhishan, the younger brother of Ravan, the ruler of Sri Lanka in the Tetra Yuga, also visited the Lord. One Dravid Brahmin noticed that he met the ascetic, the Lord, and went back without going to the Jagannath temple. He surprisingly asked Bibhishan, who is it that you didn't see Lord Jagannath? Bibhishan retorted, you fool, the ascetic himself is Jagannath. Suffice to say, on account of Bibhishan, the Brahmin also received the Lord's blessings. Interesting lila here, just let me see. Similar lila is with Guru Nanak. In Puri, it is said that Guru Nanak once was going to have darshan of Jagannath, and in the entrance he met Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And from that moment, in that very moment, Guru Nanak stayed looking at him, very surprised on the beauty and of course the super Shakti of Sri Gauranga. And he turned and started walking out of the temple. And the question was the same, why you didn't went to see Jagannath? And Guru Nanak answer was, because I just saw Jagannath in his very form, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So these two stories are very similar. I will mark here. And then I will ask Dadu, Sri Vraj Gopal Das Agarwal, today. I am going to see in a couple hours him. I will ask about this episode because I read this story on Guru Nanak. Let's see. The Lord, after the initiation, spent 6 years traveling across the country. Another 6 years passed as usual in the routine activities. But now Yogamaya Devi stepped in to start the real game. The game continued for the remaining 12 years of the Lord's Leela on earth. It was indeed the game mainly for which the Lord came here. The game is popularly known as the Gambhira Leela. Jai. It is beyond my power to describe the game, but special thanks to the Lord's companions Varup Damodar and Raghunath Das. They have very mercifully left us an account of the Leela they witness. Yogamai now present the Lord as Radha, mostly and most of the time. We may well call the Lord Radha or Gour Kishori. Krishna wants to enjoy his own handsomeness, charm and beauty. He wants to prove into and feel the depth of Radha's love for himself. He wants to fathom the bliss and joy Radha's love provides her. For this, he is now Radha Gour Kishore. It is all a game of the senses. We hear about the five senses, those of sight, taste, hearing, touch, and smell. These are actually five natural powers given to us. They give us information about the things around us. How did Gour Kishore play the game? Sitting behind Svarup and Raghunath Das, I try to see, understand, and throw some light on this Gambhira Leela. 1. The sense of sight. Gour Kishori rushed to the temple to see Jagannath. He attracts her, and the attraction is irresistible. She stands near the Garud stump and keeps looking at him hour after hour, with eyes wide open without fluttering the eyelashes. What's it she looks at so attentively? It is the figure of Jagannath, Krishna, who attracts everybody and everything, animate and inanimate, in this universe. Govind or Svarup will repeatedly say to her, "It is getting late, let's go." She won't budge. She will also repeat the same reply, "Just a little more time." At last, her hand will be taken hold of and she will be led away gently. 2. The sense of taste. One day, the attendant of Jagannath gave her the Balya Bhog Prasad. She put an iota of it on her tongue, and the rest Govind kept carefully in his cloth. She was so overcome by the particle of Prasad that she uttered, "Sukriti lavya, fellow love." Asked to explain her telegraphs, she said, "The love means a particle. The fella means what is left over, what remains in the plate after Jagannath Krishna has eaten. And even an iota of this Adaramrita is available only to a very, very fortunate person. Even Lord Brahma covets it." Gour Kishori returned to her bower, Gambhira. The whole day passed. She has all along been musing over the divine flavor and taste of the prasad. The edibles, all common ordinary things used in the kitchen, have been eaten by Krishna. Since they have received the touch of his lips, they have become so extraordinarily sweet and elating. The nectar oozing from his lips has mixed with the edibles. That is why the prasad makes me feel so exalted. In the evening, she sat with Svarup, Ramanand and other devotees. She asked Govind to distribute the prasad among them. She was still under the influence of the cooling, fragrant prasad. She said, "Its taste apart, very smell is intoxicating. Its very smell is intoxicating." 3. The sense of hearing. Gour Kishore hears, rather imagines that she hears Krishna's speech. Each and every word that he utters is so full of sweet nectar, as it were, that she totally forgets the outside world. She forgets even her own self. She drank the charm of Krishna through the cups of her eyes. She drank it to the dregs, as it were. Similarly, now she blissfully enjoys the nectar of his speech through her ears. The thirst of the ears is not quenched. She obviously does not want that his speech should come to an end. Krishna's speech makes her so mad that she stands still, all other senses being suspended. Then suddenly she hears the sound of Krishna's flute. It is so irresistible. She can't control herself anymore. Like a mad possessed person, she rushes in the direction from which the flute is calling her. It is midnight. The doors are shut and bolted as usual. How did she cross the 3 high walls of the Gambira? Govinda and Swarup rushed to search. She was found lying among the cows at the main gate of the Jagannath temple. The pupils of her eyes are stuck in the upper eyelids and tears are trickling. Froth is coming out of her mouth. She is having a sight of pain and despair. The cows are licking her body. Govind and Swarup try to drive them away, but they are in no mood to budge. The most surprising thing is that Gaur Kishori has virtually turned a tortoise. Her hands and legs are all stuck into the belly. She was brought to the Gambira. The kirtan was held for quite a long time. It revives her senses. Gaura Kishori ki jai, Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Sri Gauranga ki jai, Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur, Mahavira Ramana ki jai, Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur, Jai Jai Shri Radhesham. Thank you from my heart very much for walking with me this nectarious reading. I hope you enjoy and wishing to see you again in the next. Thanks for watching. Jai Radhe, Jai Shyam.